Welcome back to the Anthony Lee Crypto channel. Guys, today we're going to dive into the altcoins. What I want to do is encourage you to take a look at this altcoin with an open mind, okay? I know what you want to hear. Everybody wants to hear that their coin is going to 50x, 100x. I get it. I want to hear that too, okay? But listen to me. I've been through 3 bull markets and I'm now in my 3rd bear market, okay? And I'm not saying I'm always correct, okay? But I know how these things go, okay? We're going to look at the coin from a technical standpoint. How many of you a few weeks ago, as your coin was going up 60, 70, 100%, was listening to the influencers telling you this time is different, super cycle, Bitcoin dominance is headed down, alt season is here, blah, 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 blah. And today your coin is probably down 50%. Okay, don't listen to the noise. Okay, we're going to look from a technical standpoint. Okay, I don't know about your fundamentals of your coin. I don't know any of that kind of stuff. We can't predict what may happen later, what partnerships may come in, what scandals may come up. We can't predict those types of things, but what we can predict and know for a fact are things like tokenomics, circulating supply, technical analysis. Those things don't change. So we can look at it from a technical standpoint and take a realistic approach to what this coin might do. If anything comes later, like some sort of hopium or some sort of deal or some sort of thing like that in the economy with your coin, where it gets worldwide mass adoption, great, that's a bonus. But be prepared for less, okay? Or be prepared for a more realistic target. The biggest mistake I made in my first cycle was listening to everyone else who said that my coin was going to 50, 60x. And as I sat here and watched it 10 and 15x, which was great, I didn't take profit because I was waiting on that 50x because I believed the narrative. And I wound up writing that coin all the way back down and round tripping it, right? I learned from that mistake. If you're not at least open-minded to hearing what a conservative approach would be, then you're only showing your inexperience in this market. So don't be inexperienced. If you are inexperienced, at least try to learn, okay? If I think your coin's going to 100x, I'm going to tell you that. If I think it's going to 5x, I'm going to tell you that. If I think it's going to 0, I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to keep it real with you. I know I could get way more clicks by just coming in and shouting 100x, but that's not going to serve you anything good in the future. So let's take a realistic approach to these coins, and we'll see if we can figure out where a good bull market top is going to be. Let's take a look at the charts. Here we go. All right, y'all, taking a look at Dogecoin, the doggy coin, everybody's favorite coin. Guys, I'm not trying to step on your toes. I know there's a lot of hardcore Doge guys out there. I'm just looking at the technicals and the tokenomics. I don't care if Elon Musk loves this coin. I don't care what it's going to do. I don't care about the narrative. If the narrative takes off, great. That's just a bonus. But if it doesn't, if that narrative doesn't play out the way you think it's going to, what might a reasonable target be? Okay, because most of the time the narrative does not live up to the hype. And in that case, we need to know where we might need to take profit on this coin. So let's look at Dogecoin. Doge set an all-time high back in May of 2021 at about 74 cents. At that time, you had a market cap of 98.5 billion and a circulating supply of 129 billion. Dove down into a bear market, came back last cycle in December of 2024, and you set a cycle high of 48 cents, okay? A market cap of 71.3 billion and a circulating supply of 147 billion. So you had some slight token dilution here as you increased tokens on the market through unlocks from 129 to 147. Not terrible, but you did add about 20% coins onto the market. Even with that, though, your market cap underperformed. You did about 27 billion less market cap, which is significantly less. So losing interest from cycle to cycle here, that is not a good thing. Now, could it rally up and set new all-time highs in the 3rd cycle? Possibly, but that rarely happens. Usually when you see interest waning and market cap lowering, you just set a series of lower highs, excuse me. But let's take a look at that in a second. Let's look at today's price action. Doge is trading out of a price of about between 8 and 9 cents, market cap of 13.6 billion, and you've added some more coins onto the market, about 155 billion. Now, looking into the next cycle, we anticipate the next cycle high being Q4 of 2029, Bitcoin topped Q4 2025, 4-year cycle. You do the math. I understand that alts topped a little sooner, so maybe altcoins top a little sooner, maybe a little later. We don't know. Either way, this is going to be pretty close. And Doge is going to have, by the end of this year, actually, so regardless of when you top, Doge is going to have 170 billion coins in the market, okay? So more token dilution as opposed to your all-time high at 129 billion. That is an increase of 32% from your all-time high. You'll have 32% more coins on the market. Therefore, your market cap would have to reach 130 billion for your price to reach your all-time high of 74 cents. That's not my opinion. That is just basic mathematics. Okay, that is almost double what you did last cycle. So very much not likely to happen. However, if Doge just reaches your market cap high of last cycle of 71 billion, you're going to have a token price of 42 cents. The best way to calculate, you cannot fib this, okay? The only way a fib would work on price is if your circulating supply remained the same, but since you're diluted in your circulating supply, a fib does not work. But you can throw on a fib of your market cap and try to figure out where your market cap would go and then figure out price from that. So looking at Doge's market cap here, your price is going to equal your market cap divided by your circulating supply, period. Okay, that's how it works. So as you can see, if we fib your cycle 1 market cap high, drag it to the bottom of the bear market cap low, on cycle 2, you came all the way to the 702 retracement, which is my favorite retrace level. Okay, 702, then you rejected and headed into the bear market, which we're currently in. Okay, so let's assume the low is in now. This may, unlikely that the low is in, but if it is, let's see what we can look forward to in the next cycle. Okay, so we're going to throw a fib from the last cycle high and to our market cap low thus far, and you could see these will be your retracement levels. Now, I do think you come a little lower, but look, if I drag this lower, you can see it doesn't change the prices that much because you're already over 90% down, so most of the damage is done. So it's going to be pretty close to here. Now, I'm going to assume, and Doge could do better or it could do worse. I don't really know, but I'm going to predict that Doge is going to retrace to the 786 market cap fib level and give you a market cap of about $58 billion. Okay. And let's remember, price equals market cap divided by circulating supply. So let's go back to our price chart and see what our price would be at 58 billion. Okay. Again, you went from 129 billion to 100. Excuse me, that's wrong. You went from 98 billion to 71 billion, and now I'm going to predict 58 billion. So let's turn this stuff off and let's turn our price prediction on. And you can see right here, I have a price prediction for Dogecoin of 34 cents. That is a $58 billion market cap with 170 billion coins in circulation, gives you a price of 34 cents. Now, I do think we roll over here, probably headed into Q4 and bottom sometime like alts and Bitcoin typically does. And I do think you're going to get a shot at like a 6, maybe 5.5 cent Doge somewhere down in this support region right here. And at that price, if you could come up to 34 cents, you're going to get about a 6x. Okay, you're going to get about a 6x. And I just think that's the best you do for Doge. You can see you're sitting in clear lower highs here, and that trend is likely to continue. And you're going to look something like that. That is my prediction, 34 cents for Dogecoin. Agree with me, don't agree with me, that's okay. I'm sure you're going to have some fundamental narratives that make you think this is going to go to new all-time highs, and maybe it does. I hope it does. But I'm telling you guys, be prepared in advance in case it doesn't, so you don't wind up expecting a dollar Doge and you skip out on 34 cents and round trip your bags all the way back. So just be prepared for it. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing routine Doge updates in the upcoming cycle, along with other altcoins. Drop your altcoin in chat, or excuse me, in comments below if you want me to look at it. I'll be happy to do the tokenomics on that, and I'll see you guys next time.